The weekend is right around the corner, and thankfully the forecast for the next couple of days is looking nice. We have dry weather for our Saturday and our Sunday, and we should have some bright conditions to go with them. Yes, there will be a little more cloud cover on Saturday than what we will be experiencing on Sunday, but either way, both days are dry, and we're actually going to be warming up those temperatures. Today, we're going to be hovering around 30 degrees. We'll add 10 onto that for Saturday for your high of 40, and another 10 on then for Sunday to be around 50 degrees. So you'll definitely have that mild feeling if you're out and about and enjoying the nice weather outside. Maybe though, folks in Southeast Michigan, you're seeing a dry forecast and going, all right, we got to clean up after the ice storm that we had earlier this week. Now our temperatures, even though we have seen some sun, you can find that they're not as warm as yesterday. Yesterday we had those 50s and 60s, and it's back to winter here with a lot of our temperature readings that are hovering right around that freezing mark, if not just a couple degrees below that. And now that we have the cold air that is in place, it actually has those Great Lakes kind of up and going. We haven't talked a lot about lake effect lately, but that's what we're seeing here. We had a little bit coming off of Lake Erie and still a little bit that's coming off of Lake Michigan towards Kalamazoo, but overall not much as far as making it here to Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan. But if you do spot a flurry, you'll know why. It's because of the lake effect that's trying to make it in. Now, maybe though you're going to be, well, disconnecting for the weekend, and then by Monday you'll have to check back in. So our next storm system, here's the heads up. It's going to be moving in as early as your morning commute. So we're going to start out the day with wet weather right along the warm front. And then that's going to allow for that soaking rain to move in. And towards the afternoon, we'll have a cold front that's going to be zipping on by. Not anticipating severe weather with this system, but you still will hear a rumble of thunder and experience some thunderstorms. But as we wrap up Monday, you'll see that we are on the backside of our cold front, and that means that the system will be making its exit by then, lowering those rain chances. Now, also, hearing a rumble of thunder might have you thinking spring. So just in 21 days, 3 weeks from today is St. Patrick's Day. So it's going to be coming fast. Average temperatures at that point in March are around 49 degrees, so pretty mild. And then just a few days later at the end of March, it's opening day at Fifth Third Field. The Mud Hens will be back in action. And wow, 35 days, just over a month. It's going to be here before we know it. Average high temperatures at the end of March are around 55 degrees. And then just a few weeks later, we have Easter. So 44 days to count that one down. Average high would be around 59 degrees. And finally, well, Memorial Day. That's 94 days away, and the average high by then is typically around 78 degrees. And that's why probably a lot of us think, okay, that's the unofficial start to summer, because 78 doesn't sound too bad considering that we're kind of back to the winter weather, though we have had those mild conditions lately. Another sign of spring, not only is that countdown, but finding a little extra daylight in the forecast. You're going to have your sunset tonight at 6:18, so we're well into the 6 o'clock hour now, and enjoying that sun to get us later into the day. Of course, with a little bit of cloud cover, makes it a little bit tricky to pick up on that, but nonetheless, sign of spring, extra daylight. We're gaining 2 minutes and 42 seconds of that daylight for today, and we keep adding on, continuing to see a little bit of extra sun and light in our forecast. Now for today, temperatures, we are going to be seeing those right around the freezing mark, and we are going to have just a couple of clouds that hold. So at times we will be using our sunglasses, other times we won't, but we will be having just that cooler feeling overall. It's kind of back into the freezer box for us today, but thankfully we don't have those gusty winds like we were having and experiencing yesterday, and yet we still have some breezy conditions setting up for your Saturday. That's what you're going to find. To go with that dry forecast though, temperatures around 40 degrees for tomorrow, 50 by Sunday, still holding on to the dry weather. Work and school, well, it's a brand new week, and that means we're back at it with some rainfall. Again, a few rumbles of thunder are going to be possible as temperatures really jump here. And the warm sector is going to take those highs to around 58 degrees, and then those temperatures start to cool out. Here we go with a row of 40s, dry weather to get us through the halfway point of next week. But about a week from now, we're going to be watching another system bringing some rainfall into our forecast. By though next weekend, looking dry. Happy to see a dry forecast. Of course, perfect timing on a weekend. and temperatures are still pretty mild at that point. Obviously not seasonal, finding those into the mid to upper 40s. But again, dry weather on a weekend, that's just what we ordered. And of course, if you're going to be out and about this weekend, make sure you have the WTOL 11 weather app. That'll always have the forecast no matter where you go. Just make sure you have that set up to follow me. And then you can always get the latest forecast no matter if you're in Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan, or even traveling out of town. Have a good weekend.